That 25% XRP surge wasn't random, and that's what most people are missing. What if it was the first real sign of a master plan set in motion the moment power shifted in Washington after the 2024 election? Because XRP is being positioned for institutional control, and retail is the last to realize it. We're not talking about a vague promise. We're talking about a series of strategic, interlocking moves executed with stunning precision. A plan that looks like it was designed for one thing: to unleash XRP and secure American dominance in the next generation of global finance. It was written off as a dino coin, but after years locked in regulatory prison, XRP is walking into the sunlight. The shackles are off, the lights are green, and in this video, we're breaking down the blueprint. This isn't just about a crypto rally. This is about the rewire of our financial future and your place in it. And if you miss how this works, you'll still own XRP, but you'll never understand why it's moving. To get the scale of what's happening, we have to rewind. Before the 2024 election, crypto in the US was under siege from hostile regulators. The SEC's lawsuit against Ripple was the poster child for an administration that seemed hell-bent on crushing the industry, creating a dark cloud that specifically held XRP's price down for years. Then, everything changed. The election in November 2024 wasn't just a political earthquake, it was a seismic shift for crypto. The market exploded with anticipation, with XRP seeing massive gains as investors began pricing in a fundamental change in the entire game plan. This wasn't blind hope. It was the market sensing what was coming. The master plan wasn't announced in a press conference. It was activated. This set the stage for the first and maybe most critical piece to fall into place. But a friendly face in the White House isn't the plan. It's just the starting gun. The first pillar is what most XRP holders have waited years for. But this is where the plan turns irreversible. For years, that SEC lawsuit was the anchor dragging XRP to the bottom. It created a toxic cloud where no major US institution would even think about touching XRP, terrified of regulatory backlash. Any master plan for XRP would be dead on arrival without solving this one problem first. And in the late summer of 2025, it was solved. The years-long legal battle with the SEC was over, with reports confirming a joint stipulation to dismiss all appeals. This wasn't just a win for Ripple. It was the strategic demolition of the single biggest barrier holding XRP back. This cleared years of uncertainty in a single move. Think about the timing. This wasn't some messy, drawn-out settlement. It was a clean break, a decisive move that cleared the board for everything that was about to happen next. This legal liberation was the foundation. It gave XRP the legal clarity it desperately needed, a declaration that it was not a security that echoed across Wall Street. With the regulatory ghost finally gone, the architects of this plan could move on to the next phase, building a superhighway for institutional money. The prison doors were open, and it was time to pave the golden road. With XRP legally in the clear, the next move was to build a solid, nationwide framework to make sure a regulatory attack like that could never happen again. The goal was to replace the chaos of state-by-state rules and hostile agencies with one clear set of guidelines. Enter the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, or the Clarity Act. This legislation is the second pillar of the plan. The Clarity Act blasted through the House of Representatives in July 2025 with a decisive 294 to 134 vote. And now, all eyes are on the Senate as the bill is headed for a critical vote before the Banking Committee in January 2026. So why is this such a big deal? The Clarity Act creates the regulatory rails for the entire crypto world in the United States. For big institutions, this is everything. They don't run on hype. They run on regulatory certainty. The Clarity Act is the engraved invitation they've been waiting for. This legislation is also a direct catalyst for Ripple's own stablecoin, RLUSD, which by the start of 2026 had already swelled to a market cap of over $1.3 billion, making it one of the largest US regulated stablecoins. The legal battle was won. The legislative framework was being built. The stage was set for the main event, the arrival of Wall Street. The biggest mistake retail makes is thinking price moves first. Institutions move structure first. If you're still watching, you're already ahead of most XRP holders. Hit subscribe. The next section is where price action actually gets forced. If the first two pillars were about clearing the path, this third one is the 8-lane superhighway built straight into the heart of XRP. I'm talking about the launch of Spot XRP ETFs. In November 2025, the floodgates blew open. 7 different Spot XRP ETFs went live, offered by financial giants like Franklin Templeton and Bitwise. For the first time, both big money institutions and everyday retail investors could get direct exposure to XRP right from their brokerage accounts. The result has been breathtaking. In just a couple of months, these ETFs have pulled in over $1.37 billion in net inflows, pushing their total assets to a staggering $2 billion. But here's the killer detail. To back those ETF shares, the issuers had to go buy real XRP on the open market. As of early 2026, these ETFs have already vacuumed up 777 million XRP. This has triggered a massive supply shock. The amount of XRP available to buy on exchanges has crashed to a 7-year low, dropping by a jaw-dropping 57%. Pause on that. This is the part retail always misses. It means every new buyer is competing for fewer coins, permanently, by design. Institutional demand is exploding, while the available supply is vanishing. This is creating immense upward pressure on the price. While Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs have seen money come and go, the XRP ETFs have seen nothing but net inflows, a sign of long-term conviction. This isn't just buying, it's strategic accumulation, funneling billions into XRP and changing its market dynamics forever. Up to this point, the plan makes XRP investable. But this next piece is what most XRP holders still don't understand, and it's what makes the asset unavoidable. If this final pillar happens, XRP stops being a trade and starts being infrastructure. The fourth and final pillar of this master plan is the boldest of all. It's the move that bridges the world of crypto with the bedrock of traditional finance, the US banking system. This is the endgame. Securing a national trust bank charter from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, or the OCC. Let that sink in. This isn't just another license. A national trust bank charter is one of the highest forms of financial licensing in the United States. It would effectively allow Ripple to operate inside the traditional banking framework, offering services like custody at a federally regulated level. This is the missing link. The ETFs make XRP an investable asset for Wall Street. But a national trust bank charter would make XRP a usable asset for the entire banking industry. It would allow Ripple to hold and manage digital assets for major financial institutions, all under the protection and supervision of the US government. It provides that final layer of trust that banks need to start using Ripple's technology and XRP itself at a massive scale. If this final pillar clicks into place, everything that came before it gets repriced almost overnight. This isn't about competing with banks anymore. It's about becoming their backbone. So, is there a secret document titled the Trump XRP Master Plan? Probably not. But you don't need a written memo to see the pattern. First, you liberate the asset from its legal prison. Second, you build the legislative highway with the Clarity Act. Third, you launch the ETF on-ramps to trigger a supply shock. And fourth, you pave the way for a national bank charter to plug the entire system directly into the heart of global finance. Each step on its own is a huge development, but together they look like a coordinated strategy to elevate XRP from a speculative coin to a foundational piece of America's digital financial future. The rally we've seen isn't the end, it might just be the beginning. The real risk now isn't XRP failing. It's owning it without understanding who controls the rails it's forced to move on, whether you like it or not.